how to correctly fill out that driver's license application, how to get your nationality into the record um, properly. You know, in the past, all we do is fill out their paperwork and give it to them because we haven't thought that we can attach our own paperwork to their paperwork to separate us and distinguish our nationalities and our, more importantly, let them know that we're not 14th Amendment. Um, that's the key. You know, we do know that there is two types of citizenship. There's a federal citizen or a United States citizen, and there is a state citizenship. Um, so I'm going to show y'all how to distinguish yourselves because this is not only going to help you with how to get identified in your nationality because you want to build up as much evidence as possible because we're going into these court cases. This is why I'm doing this so that you guys can have an official record stating what your nationality is on the state level. All right, we're going. I'm going to go over some of these things. I'm gonna give you full disclosure of what you're doing when you around. You know, my pop's still in the hospital, but he's doing good. Um, this is the MV93 form for the DMV. This is the South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles United States Citizens Checklist. Why am I showing this form? I'm showing this form because this is what they want you to provide when you walk into these offices. And they have laws on here. So if you go down here, especially for the real ID, you know, the requirements for a real ID is if you choose to get a real ID, you must provide two proofs of address in addition to the other documents. So only difference in getting a real ID is you got to have two proofs of address. The rest is pretty much the same. So if you don't give them two proofs of address, you can't get a real ID. You must have another, without a real ID, you must have another federal approved identification such as a valid U.S. passport, a military ID, and show it to pass security at airports nationwide or into secure federal facilities. Now, what they're not telling you is you can walk in there with a copy of your birth certificate into any federal facility. Why? That's going to show who you are. So you don't really have to get a real ID as long as you have a birth certificate. And they're probably going to ask for a picture to go along with that, and they'll let you in. I know because when we send people into court and they have court cases, we tell them not to take any driver's license or anything. Just take the birth certificate. That's it. They will let you in. So, but skip down. You see all of these little laws here? See, proof of South Carolina address, 6 CFR section 3711, and then the South Carolina Code section 56140. Proof of citizen, proof of identity, date of birth, 6 CFR 3711, the same law that I wanted to read you. And this is what I want to read you, and I want you to look at this because this is what you're getting yourself into when you get any of their documents. The state must subject each person applying for a real ID, driver's license, or identification card to a mandatory facial image capture. So they got to capture your image and shall maintain photographs of individuals even if no card is issued. So if you get in there and they don't give you the card or nothing, they got to maintain that image of you. So when you walking into these places, they're keeping a record of your image. The photographs must be stored in a format accordance to Section 3731 as follows. If no card is issued for a minimum period of 5 years, if a card is issued for a period of at least 2 years beyond the expiration date of the card. So you go in there, they're going to hold your picture in their database for 5 years if you get no card, and it's going to remain in their system as long as the ID is valid and up to 2 years beyond the period of expiration. So if you get one of those 10-year licenses, So that they're gonna have 12 years on you to hold that information.
So
Somebody said something? Okay. All right, mute your mics. And hold your questions till I start taking questions. And I'll periodically stop and ask, see if you got a question on any section that I'm talking about. All right. So I'm muting everyone right now. All right. Declaration. Yeah, you got to do a formal declaration. Each applicant must sign a declaration under penalty of perjury that the information presented on the application is true and correct, and the state must retain this declaration. An applicant must sign a new declaration when presenting new source documents to the DMV on subsequent visits. So the declaration is pretty much the application itself. So today, I'm going to teach you how to do your own declaration and have it attached as a permanent record to their application. Plus, once you get your process completed, if you get your driver's license, you're going to do a FOIA request.
And that static are being sacrificed, and that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you got to feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it, the information station changing the nation.
Peace, everybody. What's going on? It's Sunday, January 28th. The month is over. February's here. February's usually a short month. Man, so the weeks leading up to the new year, January 21st, we had stuff in place that, we were going to continue into this year. And just a checkpoint, let me start with myself as a checkpoint. I have fallen off the wagon a couple of times because, a major event happened in the home. We had a, family crisis go on. But what I want to say is just because we have these major events, we still got to get up, pick up where we left off. So I'm in the process of picking up where I left off. I did pretty good so far, but we cannot allow ourselves to be sidetracked. The reason why we're doing these things is so that we can be better. We can have better things for our family, live a better and peaceful life, improving ourselves. And with improvement comes challenges, things that's going to pop up I usually would say things will pop up to slow you down, like they're popping up to slow you down. No, they are popping up to see if you will allow yourself to be slowed down. Things are just happening. You are choosing how you're going to react to this situation. I am choosing how I'm going to react. I am choosing, I ain't going to do a show today because I had this happen. I'm not going to do a show today because I did enough. I could take a day off. I'm not going to study. Yeah, I studied enough. I can give myself a break. But remember, that break you give yourself could end up being longer than you wanted. So that's why you got to stay in a routine. Listen, your body is in a rhythm all the time. Your body you have to breathe. You have to take in sustenance to maintain your health. You have to drink water. You have to eat some food. You have to breathe. Your heart has to beat. Yep, your heart never takes a a break. Your breathing never takes a break. Yeah, I can hold my breath. But the reason why I can hold my breath because I still got oxygen in there that's working. But eventually I got to breathe. I can't go a whole day without breathing. I can't go a whole day without my heart beating, blood through my veins. Or if that happens, what happens? I cease to exist. So what I'm trying to instill in you is that despite what happens, you still got to maintain those goals. You have to think of it like as if it's your heart. It's your breath. You're taking a breath. You have to think of those things just like that. Those of you who are trying to get out of your 9-to-5 rat race. See, the only reason why you're stuck in those places is because you don't take that job, that's the seriousness of getting out of that job like your life depends on it. Your heart beating, you breathing, your life depends on that. If those don't work, you're done. It's to the upper room you go. Slow singing, flower bringing, if those things don't work. So how come we don't have the same sense of urgency or understanding, overstanding of us getting out of these depressing situations? Why don't we do that? Why? Because you're not that serious. No, because you got what you call a cushion. You got, I still got the job. I'm making some money. It ain't enough money to retire my family, but I got something. Men, what's wrong with us? That we're not taking these things that serious, that our life depends on it. The welfare. Do you realize the decisions of our fathers before us is why we're in the situation we are in now? I know some of you men, why are you blaming it all on us? Hey, I'm a man, so I'm only talking to men right now about that. Let the women talk to the women. Let them figure that out. But what I'm saying is, our decisions of our fathers before us is the reason why we're in our situations today. The decisions of the fathers of the people that are living in very good situations, yeah, I know some people came from poor and they made a difference. But that decision of that father previous is why they were poor. But then a father came along and once got old enough and said, hey, I'm going to change what my father did. Not to beat up on your father like he was some bad person. No. Sometimes people don't come to these realizations of change because they feel like they're hopeless and have nothing else going on that they can change it. We remember, this whole system is one big program, meaning they program you to believe that you need their educational system, and through their educational system, you will seek a job. It's one big pipeline, a funnel. One big narrow vision of where your life should end or be. Get yourself senior. You need to send these kids to school by the age of 5. They need to be in the school. They need to be taught something. And see, let me show you how this system doesn't make you do anything you really don't want to do, because they always give you an out. I talk to people all the time about homeschooling. They call me up. They have issues with their children in school. I said, why don't you just homeschool? Just homeschool them. But you know why we don't want to homeschool our children for the most part? Because we think it's hard. And since we came from a system where we were taught through that same system, all we see in education is how they programmed us to see it. See, today I'm here to take the blinders off. They programmed you to see education the way they wanted you to see it. So when someone says to you, oh, homeschool your child, you're thinking in that box of what education should be. And that's all it is. It's a box that they programmed. And when you study these laws on who helped me appreciate what the laws on the homeschooling was Beth. When she looked into it, most of these states allow the parents to decide the curriculum. And you really don't have to have any record keeping. Nobody's coming to check your records. You create your own transcript. from what you're teaching your child. So basically, you could customize and give your child what they need, not this extra stuff that they're giving these kids in school today. You know, in school, they're trying to teach them all kinds of stuff that's not even appropriate for them to be learning. And some of the other stuff that they're being taught, they will never use it in real life. So you can teach your child real life stuff. Just learning how to clean the house is an education. Learning how to cook is an education. Learning how to make your own clothes is an education. I know that's a stretch because a lot of us ain't been taught to do that. You know, we walked away from those things. One of the things I'm starting to enjoy is I would search high and low in the stores for bread that I can eat. And I realized I was programmed to accept only bread from the store. So I'm going from store to store trying to find bread. And then one day I woke up, why don't you just make your own bread? And then my friend gave me a book on bread, a bread book, how to make bread, no knead bread, very simple book. And I can make bread from just 4 ingredients: the bread flour, the yeast, salt, a little bit of salt, and some water. Those ingredients right there. Of course, I'm going to start experimenting, making some olive bread, things like that. But what I'm saying is I was so programmed to get something from that system of where we get our food that I never stopped to think that I can do this myself. And when I did think about doing it myself, oh, this is going to be hard. And it's not hard at all. It literally takes, to make 1 loaf of bread, and I don't have a bread maker. Like one of the things you just throw everything in. I don't have that. I make it right in one of my pots. And I was so programmed by this system where to get my bread that I thought, yeah, man, I got to put this energy into this and that. And I made all these excuses. Then now, when I finally did, I had the book for probably 6 months. When I finally made a loaf of bread, which was maybe a week ago, the first loaf, a little over a week ago, I done made 4 loaves of bread since then. And I still got a big bag of the flour. So 4 loaves of bread tastes way better than what you can get out of the store. Not as, when I eat this bread, I don't feel full. I don't feel all of the side effects. It's really because it don't have all the preservatives in it. Now, people can raise some questions about the flour, but I'll take that. I'm going to start branching off. I want to start with the regular flour first, and then I'll move on. But my point I'm making is, when it comes to teaching our children, we are programmed to think it's hard for us to do, and it's easiest for us to just sacrifice our children to these educational systems to teach them whatever they think is right for them and take the test according to their standards. Do you realize what you're doing to your child? The schools are very quick to come up to you and tell you, oh, your child's not meeting our standards. And I'm going to tell y'all, the hell with their standards. Their standards is leading to high rates of employed people getting paid not enough money to survive. So their standards are trash. Let's keep it real. I don't have to even pull out the statistics. Just look around you. How many people you know who got a job and say they're not making enough to survive off of that? Oh, then someone said, well, they don't have a college degree. I'm sorry. I worked at a bookstore with a guy with a PhD. Ex-Air Force. Military service. Come on now. Let's use our common sense and start looking around and looking at what the facts really are. The education system is not pumping out a bunch of people that can survive without more than one job. That's why you have two parents having to work. That system is designed, listen, it's designed to make you have a two-parent working household. Give us all your kids. We'll teach them what we want. And by the time they become teenagers, they're going to fight you because they don't trust you at all, because we got them trusting us because we're the leaders in their education system. You gave them over to us voluntarily. You sent your child to our concentration camp, our educational industrial complex. Come on. Am I lying? Did I make this up? Then we wonder why our kids come out of these schools struggling to find work, and then they can't get the work. They can't get the work in the degree that they is. See, we're so insane. We try to get them to pick these college courses that'll get them the best job they can find, making the best money. And what we're really saying, no, we need you to get to take the best course that you can find so that you can become the best slave to somebody's corporation. Keem, you're harsh, man. Why are you calling them people slaves? They getting paid. Just because you're getting a little pay doesn't mean you're not a slave. You are enslaved to the idea that you need that. You enslaved yourself. That's why they said in the Constitution, involuntary servitude shall be abolished. But there's a bunch of voluntary servitude going on. Every time you fill out an application for a job, you just volunteer to be somebody's servant of their will, of their rules and regulations and policies. Yes. And in exchange for you obeying these rules, we're going to give you this paycheck. And you better do a good job, and you better be here at the times I say you need to be here. You can only take the vacations when I tell you to take them, or when it's available and nobody else got them. You can take your sick days, but you need to call me when you get sick. You need to call me when you get sick, or I'm going to count that as a no call, no show, AWOL. That ain't slavery. I don't know what it is. See, you can't go AWOL. You can AWOL from your own business, but ain't nobody going. Only way you get hurt by that is, you're not making the money. You're gonna hurt your income, your money. Come on. I was going to talk about Job today, and how I'm talking about schools and how we have programmed ourselves to believe these things we need. Just like I was talking about the bread. I believed that I needed the bread from the store. It don't take me no time to make this bread. It takes me about 10 minutes to make the first dough. Because the book I got is No Knead Bread. I'll remind me on the next show. I'll send y'all a link to it. The book is downstairs, and I don't feel like going down and getting showing. But, and then I let it sit for 12 to 18 hours. Let it ferment. Then I work it up again. After that, let it sit for another 2 hours, and then cook it. And then in 45 minutes, I got a loaf of bread. My own bread. A lot of people say, well, it takes a long time. You got to let it sit. Well, I'm gonna be sitting anyway, right? Like if I got it on a schedule, so I'll take the bread, make the first dough in the afternoon, right? Between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. Let that sit, and so by the time the next morning comes, I could cook that bread. Now I have the bread. Then for the next 2 days, I got bread. If I'm not careful, because that bread's so good, I'll run through it. Let it cool off. See what I'm saying? Now, one loaf of bread, a good loaf of bread costs you about $3-4. And I bought the flour that was around, bread flour. How much? let's see. Let's look at this here. Let's look at it. I'm gonna see how much that bread flour costs me. The one I buy. Okay, at BJ's Wholesale, a 10-pound bag costs $10. At Walmart, what size is this one? This is the one I use. 5 pounds costs $5.98, $5.58. And I made so far, okay, I think I made 5 loaves so far. Total 5 loaves, and I still got flour left. So, average bread costs you, let's just say, for the sake of argument, $3. Some good bread. I ain't talking about the cheap stuff. $3 or more. $15. And you get a bunch of bread that's gonna kill you. Four ingredients. Same thing with homeschooling. You don't need all of those ingredients that they're giving you in that school. You don't need very few ingredients. They need to know how to count money. So they need some math, right? Okay. They need to know how to read and write. That's 3 things, right? Not only know how to read with comprehension, and some other skills, life skills. Let's just say 5 things, 5 ingredients. Whereas in the schools, they're teaching them about gender neutral, this, all these extra preservatives and things they don't need. And you get to control their education. And guess what? They don't need 8 hours to be in the school all day. The reason why parents are sending their children to schools is because they're working and using the school as a daycare. It saves them money on daycare. See what happens when you have when you leave the home to work? See, that's why they wanted to get our families off the farms and stuff like that, where everybody, you go back early 19, when my aunt was a young girl, she was born in 1905. The whole family called themselves farmers on the census. What else did they need? They had their own food. Life was simple. Well, you need to be more advanced. What's more advanced than growing your own food? I think we at a disadvantage when we let other people control our food, what goes in our mouth for our health. We're at a disadvantage. We really are. If this whole system shut down, you're not ready to go and convert into a way of life where you can grow your own food. You need somewhere to get food from. That's why if something was to happen to the economy, everybody would be trying to kill themselves. A lot of people be out there fighting for resources. And you really don't have to fight, because I got dirt in my backyard. I'll just start planting stuff. But we're so programmed to believe that the system is the only source of our being taking care of us. This is why I say most people claim that they love God, believe God, and trust in God, but they don't. They really trust in man's man-made mechanisms and systems. That's what they really trust in. When I teach people, create your church. Go ahead. Turn your name into a church. They look at me like, what? Why? Because the system told you can't be one. But the Bible says, I am a temple of God. I read that in the scripture a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. That you are God's temple, and God's temple, God's spirit dwells in you. So you're a church. You're a temple. This is Akeem Barber's temple, Akeem Barber's church. And then Listen very carefully. Some of you newcomers, go get you an EIN and turn your name into a church. The benefits of that. See, y'all went and took man's number that he created for you through your application into their system. Here, send that. Here's the birth certificate. Go turn that over to Social Security, and they're going to give you a number from that. Nah, he went in there and went in the computer and gave that number for his benefit. But how about you get a number for your benefit? There's no rules. There's no law that can tell you or stop you from making yourself a church. There's no law. I've searched high and low and I can't find one. But I do find a law that supports saying that your freedom of religion can never be abridged. How about you creating your system for your house that you control? Your education system. Do you understand that most of these states have a system in place for you to create your own religious educational system in your own home? Because one of the rules, it says, I read it. Oh, you got to let us know what type of school it is. You got to give us notes whether it's just going to be a regular school or a religious school. Giving the hint. When I saw that, I said, oh, wow, they're telling you what to do, but not telling you what to do. Yo, the answers is right in front of us. We just don't read enough. We don't want to know. And I understand why we don't read enough, because what happens is they put a bunch of books in front of you for you to read or suggest that you read that controls the narrative on how you perceive the world. You see? Remember, temples, synagogues, mosques, those are automatically accepted from any type of following requirements. And you want to complain about paying taxes? You pay taxes because you're using their system. If you touch their system, be in their system, you're going to have to pay taxes. That's just the rules. That's what the rules say. You can't break those rules. But if you create in that same system, in that same framework, they got to put a provision for those who want to be mandatory accepted, for them to set up something so that they don't have to be taxed. Let's see something. Let's see. I'm trying to find something real quick. I think it's this one. It says, blessed are the undefiled in the way who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies and that seek him with the whole heart. They also do no iniquity. They walk in his ways. See, there's so many people proclaiming, exclaiming, shouting out, talking about they walking the way of the Lord. But the only time they walk in the way of the Lord is on Sunday, whenever they have a church function. They don't do that in their commerce, when they do businesses. They don't do that. Your whole lifestyle can be converted to your whole religious belief system, no matter what it is. Why? Don't the Catholic Church and them have commercial holdings, own businesses? These other major religions they don't have any other businesses outside of this. I would tell you, I would go as far as to say this: those Sunday meetings is just the extracurricular activities, for people to come show up. But the real thing that causes these big church entities to survive is their commerce, what the businesses that they run. As nonprofits. So I one day some of y'all will get it and take the bold step into doing it. Like I was saying, I didn't make the bread because see, even though I know a lot of stuff, I still have some programming that I got to undo. And I'm like, I make my own bread. I don't want to eat a lot of bread anyway, but when I want to eat it, I want to enjoy it. Make my own bread, take some olive oil, put it on it, eat that, Same thing with your children. Aren't your children worth more than making a loaf of bread? Or aren't your children's minds valuable? Why are we continuing to hand our children over to people who's going to look at them and tell them they don't measure up to our system, which we know is broken? Which we know is producing high amounts of people who go get jobs that can't pay enough with that one salary. Look out there. That system pumps out more failures than anything. Huh? They're not there to produce high intelligent IQ people. They're only there to produce factory workers, people who are going to go work a job and look for jobs as their way of living. What time is it? 10:38. So think about what I just said. All right. I was going to talk about Job, and I'm going to try to talk a little bit about it. Sometimes, and I started off the show this way, sometimes we meet challenges that can sidetrack us. Sometimes we could be doing great and something comes and just disrupts that. What are we going to do? What are we going to do when you're doing good, finances rolling, then something rolling? See, when we doing good, we praise God all day. Hey, God did this, God, thank you, Jesus, blah, blah, blah. Jumping and singing and dancing. But as soon as something go wrong, we stop praising and we stop being thankful and we start looking at and start complaining. And this is where Job had this situation. His whole conversation in the higher ups about him. Oh, he's only the devil's side of the consciousness said, oh, he only praising you, God, because he's doing good. And he said, okay, well, you could take whatever from him, but just don't take his life. They took all of his stuff, even his children. People said, why would they allow to take the children? Remember, Job used to do a sacrifice every day just about for his children because he did it. It's here. It says, let me see. It says, there was once a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. That man was blameless and upright, one who feared God and turned away from evil. There were born to him 7 sons and 3 daughters. He had 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 donkeys, and very many servants, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the East. His sons used to go and hold feasts in one another's houses in turn, and they would send and invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. He said they would send, and when the feast days had run their course, Job would send and sanctified them, offer burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This is what Job always did. So when they had these big parties, Job would have this ritual to sanctify his children, because he know, hey, I know they out there doing something contrary to what God expects of them. So when you read on to this scripture and you see that he lost these children, why? Because they weren't operating in high consciousness. So there was one of the things that was allowed to be taken away from him, or people, not things, along with his other stuff. The point I'm trying to make, Job was tested to see how far he would go. His wife told him to curse God when he got sick, when he lost everything. Why are you still living? God cursed you. Well, why should you still be thankful? And that's how we can get when things go bad. Why is this happening to me? Why is God forsaking me? But see, if you read on, there was something that Job said in Job chapter 3, verses 25 and 26. He said, truly, the thing that I fear comes upon me, and what I dread befalls me, and I am not at ease, nor am I quiet. I have no rest, but trouble comes. So he had a fear at some point of losing all of these things. And what he feared, it came. See, that's what happens. Sometimes we do good, and then first thing we say, man, it's going too good. Something's going to happen. Because we live in a world where we are programmed to expect calamity to come and take away from us. See, we have to simply just change our expectations. One Job stayed faithful. He kept his expectations high, and he got way more than what he had. He didn't listen to the naysayers. Tell him that's not working. Like, I had people tell me, well, you're not going to get a lot of followers if you talk about that stuff. Okay. I am getting a lot of followers, not just the ones you want me to get. See, the followers they're talking about is the ones who like, they want me to, you'll get followers, but they're going to be the followers that like garbage, to be fed, like I was talking about earlier. They want to be fed that bread you buy in the store with all of the preservatives and chemicals in it. That's no good for you. See, they suggest I create content that cater to people who want to be fed garbage. I'm not trying to create that type of bread. I'm not going to do it because I don't want it for myself, and I'm not going to give it to you. So what? See, I'm not looking for those types of followers. See, for a person who is worried about how they look and making quick money, that's good for them. They do that, and you see a lot of them doing it. Searching the internet, searching the dumpster of the internet for bad stories to talk about. Searching the trash so they can feed the public with more garbage of what they want. See, I perceive and I hear everything. Even though I may not say anything or even respond to it, I hear and take in everything. And I watch closely what people say. And I watch even closer to what they do. Now, the number one person I watch is myself and what I do. And sometimes I catch myself off and I got, you got to back up. But you got to be careful. See, people are willing to sell themselves short, sell their divinity short just for a quick buck, just for a quick like. Someone gave me the suggestion the other day when I had made a concoction of a tonic that I drink every day. And I just showed the picture saying, you should make more of those. Because I had the caption, my kitchen is my pharmacy. And then I showed the concoction. I should make more of those. Thank you. That's a great idea. I'm going to start. I'm going to do a video how I make the bread and put that on in any other thing that I make. Because I make a lot of stuff that I use for my own health. So, yeah. Let me, where's my notebook at? I just had it. Oh, there it is. Oh, write that down. See, I got to put myself on a schedule. So many things. That's why I got to keep doing these shows, because when I do these shows, it just gives me more inspiration. Because I believe we're living in the time right now where people really want to be healthy and they're looking for ways to do it, but they're lost because we've been programmed by bad eating standards for so long that they have a hard time knowing what's right and what's wrong and what's true. And I had a video up on my channel for since 2020 of Dr. Daniels. They took it down because they said it violated some health thing and health misinformation. See, in this system, they have a way they want you to see health. If you speak anything other than that, they're going to take it down. You see? All right. Hard times are going to come. They may come. What are you going to do? And when I say hard times, most of the hard time is in our mind, how we see it. Our thoughts make things hard. Our interactions with people. Maybe they did something we didn't like. And we didn't like it, and I don't like that. What really is it that the feeling, who gave you the feeling? Did they give you the feeling, or you saw what they did, heard what they said, and you chose to get an emotion, an adverse emotion towards that? So who really made the choice to upset you? Did they? No, you did. In these tough situations that come, you have to choose where you're going to stand. Brother Rico, I got your message. Thank you for that message this morning. You have to choose. You got to choose where you're going to stand when it comes time, when you face these challenges. You're going to give up, roll over, and go back. You say you got your business going and things you're not making the money you want to make. You're going to give up, go back to the job. See, I'm going to tell you, these things are just testing points to see how serious you are, how you going to push through. They're testing points to test your strength. And if you see that you're weak in those areas, what happens when you're weak in something, right? You work on it. You become stronger. You don't give up. If I feel like I'm weak and I need to strengthen my shoulders, I do some pull-ups. Do some push-ups. Feel like I can't run up the street, I start running more, playing, getting more active. You get better. You don't give up. You don't cower or go back to any other direction. I play my guitar. I meet songs that challenge me all the time. Do I give up? No. I keep playing it over and over until it sounds like music. When I first started playing the guitar, it was just one finger at a time. Now I can play some songs without even looking at the guitar. But how did that happen? Constant, consistent playing. Whether it's just 5 minutes a day, just play. Just play. Same thing with your goals. Just play. Keep playing. You fall short, you keep going. Even in our trucking business, we had challenging, end of the year. And the light, just we could have given up. But things are looking up now. Just playing through. Actually, I just got an email about a job I'm going to take. What the? They asking for. I gotta respond and whatever. I'll deal with that later. Let's see what we got out here in the chat here. We got Discipleship Ministry said, "Peace, brother. Peace back to you." Hindsight Radio says, "Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all, as always." Theoretically God says, "Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all." There it is, the second time. DJB Thunder says, "Morning, everyone. Peace, love, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone." Says that again. And looking on reaching out. Oh, thank you. Finally gave you your QSIP information. I'm glad that happened. Big man Master Abel says, "Peace, love, and light." And Lavita says, "Peace to all." C. King Bay says, "Peace, everyone." Dear Record God says, "Grand Rising." Corinne says, "Happy Sunday, everyone." Oh, by the way, we got a new show coming on Thursday. I don't have the title yet. We're working on the title. Corinne is going to be, we're going to host the show together on Thursdays. So I'll let y'all know what the title is. We just haven't figured out what to call it. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. Usually I don't have these blanks, but it will get one. So look forward to that new show on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Cyber Submission said, you're correct. We homeschool. We have one daughter graduate, another one this year. Good. That's a testimony to homeschooling. Truzilla says, "Let's go." By the way, if anybody don't know, that's my brother, my youngest brother, Paul. Where can I buy the book? The book can be bought on Amazon. It's called, let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. I think you can buy it as a Kindle, so if you want it right away. Let me hold on. This is it. It's called It's actually called My Bread. That's the book. My Bread. This is it. I'll give you the link in the chat. Actually, that's showing my email address. There it is. That's the book right there. Very good book. Very simple recipes, as you can see. I want the very first recipe is the one I use. Yeah. Somebody she said, where to buy the book? There's the book. And let me find the chat. I'll leave it in the chat for you. Oh. Let me get a link for you. All right. Now, if you use this link, I do get credit for that. So please use my link to support the channel. To get the book. There it is. Let's go continue with the chat. Ronnie Davis says family with some hearts and a thumbs up. AMSD University says searching through the internet dumps it. That is powerful. Yes, that's what most, when you look at the content of most people, they're looking for the worst story that they can tell because they're looking for what? The shock effect, drama. And that's what they're getting followers off of that. But at what expense? Because you can't go to bed feeling like, just because you got a lot of followers and you're making money off those lot of followers, but how does your soul feel when you go to bed that you just gave people a bunch of garbage to look at, to talk about people? I remember I told you about 2 years ago, I consulted with the internet guy who had huge following, and he told me this is what sells on YouTube. You want this, you got to do this. He said my channel looked horrible. Maybe I needed some improvements and stuff like that. And I almost fell for it, but then something said I came. What type of followers are you trying to get? You want followers that want to look at trash all day? Look, what do I need to know about Will Smith, Cat Williams, Steve Harvey? Who cares what those people are doing in their life? Those people got money and they're taking care of their families with it. Regardless of what lifestyle they're trying to lead, what kind of lies they told, whatever. They are living well. And here I am passing judgment on people who got a career. They're not working for anybody like that. Cat Williams runs his own comedy empire. That's what I call it. He don't have any investors in his stuff. He funds his own stuff. But I got an opinion about him though. My opinion don't mean nothing. Only opinion I need to have is how my finances look and how I can improve them. How my life, my family. How do I improve my family's life? I don't need to know their business. A lot of times, we probably need to stop consuming that stuff. Because it's trash when it means nothing to know what these people are doing or not doing. It absolutely doesn't move the needle in your situation one way or the other. All it did was take time away from you. It took mental space. Remember, everything you are experience or will experience is created in the mind first. So all that drama they got, and you looking in, you feeding on that drama, you're going to have the same drama in your life. The only reason why people want to see these rich people doing something wrong because it gives them a sense of comfort to know that the rich people be doing wrong too. Just because they got money don't mean they ain't like us. See, the poor always want you to be like them. They want to bring you right back. Yeah, they make themselves feel normal through watching other people's tragedy or drama. See, just because they money, they ain't better than us. Now I can sit down, I can just watch this and watch that. I ain't got to work towards making my family financially independent. Because look at them. They got money and they still got problems. See, that's the line of wicked reasoning people come up with to keep themselves from being better. We don't have time for that. So I just said, welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. And there's the link to that book where I've been making bread. And it tastes amazing. Like, simple. The simplest thing. All right, it's 11:01. I did the whole hour. You know, sometimes, just to give y'all accurate look at me, sometimes I say I'm only going to do 10, 15, 20 minutes. And I never do it because I get to talking and then the spirit start flowing. And that's how it's going to be with your project. Just get going because the spirit will flow to make it successful. All God is looking for you to be blessed, be prosperous, is for you to move. When he asks individual, okay, leave there and go here, just walk, pack up and go. Just go. Get started. People still making excuses to me about why they ain't starting their business. Now, I have learned to keep my mouth shut because I realized nothing I can say or do is going to get them moving. Just work on what I'm doing. Improve myself. And as y'all can see, the new websites, since I started focusing on what I'm doing, people have come into my life to make it better. Corinne and Steve, Capola, they all made me websites. I showed you guys this week. Those things are, well, the church website is live. Both of the websites are live, but I'm going to transfer everything over this week and get it fully transitioned to the new site. And I just want to thank all of you guys that have assisted me. Anyone that has assisted me, I want to thank you for the success of this channel. It's going to get better. It's going to get huge. We're going to be huge. But we're going to be in huge with the people who are looking for higher knowledge, consciousness, things that they can feed on that's going to make themselves better. You know that when you're taking herbs, anything that God created, it takes a little time to work. Why? Because it has to go through a process in your body to make it work at its best, at its highest. Whereas when you're eating that junk, yeah, you feel it. You start to feel, oh, this feels good, it tastes good, but it's tearing your body down. So when you start taking herbs and taking in the good stuff, it's going to take your body time to get used to that so it can work. So like anything, you got to clean yourself out first before you start taking the good stuff. Clean out. Same thing mentally. Clean out. Purge. Find right now what's in your life that's distracting you from your higher purpose and remove it. Whatever that is, remove it. Before you start, the reason why you can't hold on to the good stuff because you got junk in there, junk in your mind, junk around you that you need to get rid of first. Then you can appreciate all of the sustenance and the good food from God, whether it be physical food or spiritual food. You cannot appreciate any good spiritual food until you get out the junk. Get rid of the demons so that your mind will be clear. All right. Until Tuesday. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. You guys have a good rest of your Sunday. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.